I have done a couple of vlogs earlier about family communicating about money to each other. So today I'll talk to you about something which happened a few years ago. For those who were in the markets a little longer would remember there used to be a bank called GTB, Global Trust Bank, which used to be called GTB. GTB went bust and people had no clue what would happen, but within 10 days they solved the problem by merging it into, I think, Oriental Bank of Commerce, OBC. Now, my story is in that period when it had not got merged. Let's call this man Vardarajan. I've changed his name. He had an account with GTB, and he had fixed deposits, he had savings bank account, everything with GTB. Now, obviously, when something like this happens, you are first short of cash because everything is frozen, you cannot withdraw, right? Like what has happened today with the PMC bank, right? So you can't withdraw, so you're stuck, and maybe you can withdraw 1000 rupees a day, and there'll be a long queue. You don't feel like going there and standing. So Mr. Vardarajan Senior, let's call him, his son in US, asked him, "Dad, do you need money?" Mr. Vardarajan said no. So the son didn't send the money, but he asked 2-3 times, but he didn't send the money. So I met Mr. Vardarajan long after the incident was over. So Mr. Vardarajan said, "Why does my son have to ask whether I need money? That is not his job. He should have just sent it. If he's in US, so what? He knows I have another account. He should have sent it there. He should have asked me, what is your other account? He should have asked my wife, which other account can I send the money? He shouldn't have said this. Unlike my brother who came home, he gave me 3 checks, blank, just the date and my name, and he said, not over 50,000, but all 3 checks are yours. Whenever you can repay, you repay me. And he also brought cash. He gave me 20,000 rupees cash. That is the way to help. Now, I know both father and son. The son said, "What ego? Why can't he ask me for money if he wants? Why should he say no?" Therein lies the difference. A person who has had a nice life, this man was in his 60s, he was CEO of a company, he never asked for money. Do you think such a person will pick up the phone and say, "I need money"? And that was to the younger generation? Answer is no. I could always walk into the house and tell my dad, "Dad, I need 200 bucks. He would say, "Take it from my purse." Do you think my dad would have ever asked me for money? My own money? I mean, asking me to withdraw from his account is different. Do you think he would have ever asked me money? No, it is our job to anticipate what the seniors need. And the question of how you give it. For example, if you want to buy your mother an iPad, the best thing to say is, "Mom, I have this iPad which I've been using for last 8-9 months. I'm going to upgrade. Do you want it?" And they're more happy to take that because they feel you're not invested for them, right? So don't, even if you're giving me a hand-me-down thing, give it very nicely and say, "Look, it's going to lie waste in my house. You want my laptop?" Or anything of that sort. So you buy a new one and say, "Yeah, this is yours." But the question is, they will not accept it. They don't know why you should be spending 75,000 rupees on a laptop for them, or a 50,000 rupees, 60,000 rupees for an iPad or its equivalent, right? They don't know, so they will not accept it so easily, nor will they ever ask. So it is, the burden is on the younger people to suggest these things. Like saying, "Mom, my office has organized a will writing session this weekend. I'm planning to write, and would you be interested?" Or saying, "Mom, can I have a talk with you about your money?" That is a direct approach. I do that. I never talk to my mother about money. She knows that it is there, and I've told her it will last for the rest of her life. She's not bothered beyond that, right? But there are not every parent who gives away, abdicates completely and say, "You look after my money." Some parents don't, some parents do. Find out how your parents are, what you want to do. Asking them, saying, "Do you have a will? Do you have enough medical insurance?" I'm surprised, stunned, shocked. I don't know what all words to use when people come out and say, "I didn't know my parents didn't have medical insurance. I didn't know my father had not dematted his shares. So, suddenly 5 years after his death or 3 years after his death, they open up cupboards and suddenly they find bunch of shares. My mother, I don't know, my father used to get those dividends. I don't know where those dividends are going. We change house. Boss, this is sheer irresponsibility. And I know chartered accountants who have done this with their parents' wealth. This is not right. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Talk to your parents about money, talk to your spouse about money, talk to your children about money. Money has to be earned, money has to be spent, taxes have to be paid, money has to be given for charity. But most important, money has to be managed. At some stage of your parents' life, they may not be able to manage it so actively. So when I look at a portfolio, I know at which stage that person gave up managing the portfolio. He may have died in 2018, but he may have given up managing the portfolio in 2014 because it would be a very good portfolio but not adjusted for mistakes from 2014 to 2020. Fairly obvious, somebody in the family was not paying enough attention. So whatever documents you have, bring it out, put it in a cupboard, put it in a bag, whatever, and sit down and sort it out. Who knows, you may suddenly find shares worth $1 million. Thank you.